Um, I'm not showing any drop frames, and I am showing the two streams active. So
Yeah, they're good now. Just buffered while you were starting YouTube, so. We are live and on the air. Welcome, everyone, to the Foolish Tech Show. It is a lovely Tuesday morning, and we are here mainly to provide support and answer any questions about our products and services. But otherwise, we're going to ramble on. If you'd like to ask any questions or request any demos or anything like that, feel free to jump over to our IRC chat at foolishtechshow.com, foolishit.com/live. We'll be more than happy to assist there. Otherwise, you can just join in on the conversation and help direct us as we go. Looks like we got Glenn in there already. So morning or afternoon or good day.
Good day. Good day, Glenn.
Day, sir. I said good day. So yeah, I got a whole bunch of links to start off the day, unless we have anything else we wanted to hit on. No, okay.
jumping
So
right into it. Okay. Beavis, Glenn, Joe. Particularly Joe, if you have any questions regarding any tickets you've been working with us on or anything like that, please just interrupt at any point if you want to get into that. But and Shuker, anyone else as well. But yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
So I saw big news yesterday, and I'm super excited about it. There's going to be a total solar eclipse visible from the U.S., starting in around the Portland, Oregon area, and then going all the way across the U.S. in a semi-elliptical pattern down to the coast of South Carolina. It looks like around Forehead Island or whatever that place is called. So Joe did respond and said he wants to talk about the registry issue with D72 and how do you link your Ninite to D72.
I got his issues. Yeah, so couple things. As far as Ninite, you just simply place the ninite1.exe in the third-party apps. You may, if you have Ninite Pro, you may have to rename it to ninite1.exe, but it's a portable app, and you stick it in there, and then you can use D72's configuration screen to interact with it, and its associated third-party tool to uh, launch it and actually perform the updates.
You can also, if you're using the
Somebody else
SF,
show it off. Show it off. Actually, Proctor, because I can't do the screen sharing too well when it's broadcasting.
I'm sorry.
Do you mind showing that off actually, where the Ninite config and the Ninite tool and the and where you would drop the executable, so that the folks at home can see that. And as far as your registry issue, Joe, so to go into more detail, I did send you a response, and I hope you received it. But basically, those it's my understanding that those registry keys should be removed when you end session on D7.2. It's possible that something on this computer caused D7 to crash or otherwise corrupted the registry settings. We don't have anything in D7.2 that simply clears those registry settings out. And I don't believe there's any changes going to be made to that. But this shouldn't happen in most cases, and getting D7 launched and ending the session should remove those keys and elements. And it's a one-off thing. I think you mentioned yourself that 99% of the computers you go to don't seem to have this issue, and we're not really clear what causes it. But if you find some common trait where if you could put together a D72 crash scenario that predates the failure to launch or something else, I believe it's probably that or something very machine specific. With those keys getting corrupted, that could affect that, and it's particularly relevant to the SFX. The SFX looks there. Um, for a number of things. So it's sort of expected that if there's problems with those keys, that this would happen. But as I also mentioned, D7.2 completely would rewrite these keys, so completely blowing them away should not cause any harm to your machine or cause you to lose anything like that.
All right, Michael, I'm ready with D7.2. I've not set up 9-night before. Can you walk me through it?
Okay. Well, you have to have a copy of the executable, but basically you put it in the third-party tools folder. You name it. I believe you have to name it 9night1.exe.
Let me grab the executable real quick.
And at some point, you're probably going to need to shoot, everybody sees the, oh, I'm sorry about that, guys. You were seeing the video window block probably, maybe, I don't know, in the stream. Were you keeping an eye on the stream? I don't know what it might have been.
It looks fine.
Interesting. Maybe, oh, did I fix that? Oh, maybe because the screen's split more now, it's easier for it to remember which part is which. Oh.
So he says using the app multiple times on the same PC had the same issues on the test PC. And when you're using the app multiple times, are you ending session when you're done and finished with it,
Yeah,
or
is
just
the app crashing? What's happened? Because we did several tests with it, and I opened up D7.2 probably 100 times on the computer, and I wasn't even ending session, and I didn't have these issues, and I did end session, and I still didn't have these issues. So, not really.
Maybe we'll just try launching it multiple times.
I mean, without shutting it down at all? I mean, like loading D7.2 multiple copies, that'll probably mess it up.
No, it won't do that.
Oh, it's got a mutex. It's not going to do that, right? Yeah.
That's good, Joe. I'm good at that too, so I'm sure if I tested it, which I can do later, we can get it to reoccur. That's what makes us good techs, is we're good at breaking stuff. Dude, if you ever have a tick, because I was out on a farm and I ended up getting a tick in between my toes.
Oh, that's a bad spot.
Sure, you get the head out because it is itching like crazy.
So the tick's gone and you weren't successful at getting the head out. The good news is it's just a bad spot that's probably gonna bother you. The good news is that probably you're not going to have any problems with it. There are a host of illnesses a slew of illnesses that are tick bloodborne and could potentially cause a problem to you. But let's hope that doesn't happen. And eventually it'll work its way out of your skin. Our skin's good like that.
Thanks for putting that in my mind.
You can go to a doctor if you are concerned.
You're going to share your screen, Proctor?
Yeah.
Go ahead whenever you're ready. I'm watching the stream.
All right, screen is shared.
Yeah. It's cut off.
JC said he'd be right back.
No, it's
not. Oh, is that the person who's
wanting the demo?
Oh, okay.
Hold on a second. Let me see.
Michael's got to figure out the stream anyway. It looks fine on the YouTube side.
It's just we're cut off a bit of the bottom of his.
You got to do the fit to screen. If you're over the window, you have the green bar at the top.
Yeah.
Options, fit to window.
It's okay as long as you just keep D7.2 at the top there. It's not going to be a problem, I don't think. You got your 9.1.exe. It looks like, what is it already in the
He's
third
not
party?
back yet, Michael. You completely ignored us on that fact. You gotta wait for
Not me.
While we wait on that, though, we can go ahead and mention the other more important side, which
That D72 is reporting Windows 10 as Windows 10?
no, the more important side. Proctor, you could have left your screen up. Because I'm assuming now he's going to be using the SFX Mini, so let's go into main and then config. And custom apps. And integrated apps. In the
sub-tab, if you will, or
under where the admin, yeah, there you go. So this is where you would integrate some of those apps, especially Fab's Auto Backup and 9.1 to work with your SFX Mini. And this would require you have your FTP set up and have D72 using the FTP, and you can reference it there. And the FTP path, you can see how it's listed there. You will want to make sure that wherever you put it is in the user home folder of the FTP that you have set up under servers and email. Don't switch to that tab, Proctor, because you probably have passwords and things set up in there.
Yeah.
But this is where you would set it up if you're going to use the SFX Mini. And I believe if you're not using the SFX Mini and it's not in the third-party tools, it's going to download from there. Is that correct, Nick?
Wasn't paying attention. I don't have your screen share up. Hang on.
Is integrated apps only for the SFX Mini, or is it for whenever D72 needs your copy of those apps?
It's just for whenever it needs your copy.
Yeah, so
Okay.
you don't have to
Yeah.
necessarily have to have your 9.8 in that folder. If it's not there, just like something else that D72 needs, it'll download it on demand, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay, so the other thing to point out, I guess, while you're on the screen, Proctor, is if you go over to, what's it going to be under? Is it going to be under D7 all functions there for the 9.8 when you actually run it? When you want to run it as part of a profile?
I believe so.
Yes.
Proctor, if you want to search that.
Yeah, just to show them and type in 9.8 there.
You have to hit search.
Yeah, so that runs the custom config. Now you have to do that configuration.
So that you would want to have that in your assign app function to section. So you want to have that somewhere.
First tab there. Yeah. So you'd put that on one of your I guess probably maintenance would be a reasonable screen to stick that on, but it's up to you to put it where you want it. Yeah, so that's where it is, I guess, by a default config. It's down there at the bottom of that.
No, he just added.
I just double.
Oh, you just added it?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was already there. Sorry. And the actual, if we could look at the actual settings.
So save and exit out of this.
Mm-hmm. That's going to be
go into maintenance. And then 9.1 config. Nope, up at the top tab.
Well, you put it in the middle one. It was on your right one, but yeah, there we go. So this is where you would your 9.1 Pro account. Oh, because you don't have an account.
Well, just if you refresh it. Oh, try refreshing it. They probably did
But-
cut us off. Yeah, we probably have to contact them and turn it back on again.
Yeah, let's do that, huh? See if I have one of those already. See, I was thinking it uses the executable. It uses your 991 executable, so it would probably work for him with his 991.
Does he
sub.
need
yeah.
to
Doesn't have no
rename
R99.
it to 99 Pro?
It's 991. 991 is what it's made for. Although the Pro has the same command line parameters.
So it really doesn't matter.
Yeah, and you know what? I was confused with their pricing and their products for a while too, a little bit. So, like, I'm not sure that they have one anymore, or I'm not sure if it's all Pro now, or
Let me look into that.
you can do that while you're getting our account hooked up again for these things.
Yeah, I'll need to get some contact information.
I'm sure it's on their website.
And Joe just responded saying it says completed but not sure. Explain a little bit more on that sentence. What says completed? What are you not sure?
Basically, it should fill a list in that box that you would have, like a big list for.
Of the various updates and installs you can do. And then when you do make check marks and things here, when you save your auto mode profile, those will be saved as well with that profile.
I actually have that populated on my system. Let me just get that file to you, Proctor, so you can, instead of sharing my screen.
All right.
It's blank, and you can just use that.
Oh man, the Eclipse is going to go through Yellowstone. I bet that'd be a really nice place to watch it from. Did you set any of the check marks in this 991 configuration? Not you, Proctor. I'm talking to Chair Chamberlain.
Not you, big dummy.
Because to configure it, yeah, you have to go in here, and if you have the paid version in there, when you hit refresh apps list, that will populate all these with options you can do for updates or installs, either for workstations or servers. And you can also make some of your changes on the left side there. And if you do run installs now, it's the same as the option if you're under the maintenance tab to run. So you would have to have things checked for it to actually do something.
Is there any way I could see the full failed message there, or is that not going to be possible?
What, Michael? All you have to, don't worry about sending them. I'll tell you how to do it after we get off the show. Sorry, talk to them.
The heck happened there?
You do need and to reiterate on their licensing, for you do need the Pro for business use.
Okay. Weird. Sorry for the delay, Proctor. And everyone. I just pasted the file into the folder and it disappeared.
But since he's back, let's go back to the other stuff. So he was able to get it into the third-party tools folder, I'm sure. But the more important part, I feel at least, is go back into the configs, Proctor. Main config, or that way. Whichever.
Proctor, it's, I'm sorry, but that should be in your BitTorrent sync folder.
All right.
So the important side, you can have it in your third-party tools, but if you're using the SFX Mini, that's not going to come over. So what you'll want to make sure you have is under Integrated Apps tab there, you can add it to a path on your FTP, which this means you would have to have D7.2 set up for FTP usage, which is under the Servers and Emails tab. We're not going to have Proctor switch to that tab, but we can go over that more in a different session if we need to. But having it set up as an FTP makes it so that you can put these apps in your user's home folder and be able to reference it here. And then if D7.2 doesn't have access to it, it's going to download it from there. So Fabs and 981 are probably your biggest ones that you would want to have there if you're using those products. That way D7.2 can always get to your copy of it if it needs to. So that was the biggest thing there. You can save and close out of that and get yours set up, Proctor. While we wait for Proctor to get sorted there, I'll go ahead and post on here. Did y'all see that Unchecky has hit version 1.0?
Ooh.
Yeah, so they're
It's
finally
official.
Yeah, they're finally official. Perfect. That could have been it as well, Jay Chamberlain. Nick does look for a few various names. I know for sure on the Fabs, but Ninite, it might be that it has to look for just ninite1.exe, and
Yeah.
here you have it named that one.
I'm not sure. It might do 99 asterisks. But double check that. I know it does for Fabs, so it doesn't matter what version or whatever.
Yeah, well, he was saying it was 99_1, and it didn't seem to work. So. But I thought it was cool that Unchecky's there. It's
Proctor, you can just. I'm sorry, Proctor. You can just copy that list to your, config folder, D7.2 config. And
It
then
hadn't synced yet. Which bit sync did you put it in?
the one that we share that you just connected to that you weren't connected to a minute ago. Just so you're out of sync. Wait a minute. It appears online.
He's saying it's working fine now for him. So.
Counter PC, Proctor. Counter 01. Thought you were retiring that.
Oh, this computer has the same username on it.
Oh, that's the.
Or
Is that a username?
That's computer.
Name.
My computer
Well,
name
there's
should be executor.
That's not it. Oh, there's the read-write key in the chat. You want
All right.
to add that to your new guy.
Well, to fill the dead air here, Unchecky is a default app in D7.2, so if you're not using that, it is probably one of the best things to leave installed on a client's computer and have running in the system tray, because what it does is it goes through and any of your third-party apps that try to get installed alongside of other apps, which things like Java updates and other products you want are nefarious for doing, which foolish IT software does not do, is integrating third-party apps that you don't really want just so they can get some extra money. This will go through and make sure that those are unchecked when you're trying to install software. So,
And there is an install profile on that in the custom apps. Yeah, it's actually says install in parentheses. I don't know if there's a run. Does it? It doesn't run.
it installs it. That's
yeah, it just installs it. Yeah.
But yeah, it is a great little app, and it we're glad to see it hit full version, so for stable version. And I mean, it's been working fine and stable regularly. I actually have it running on my system, so I haven't had any issues, and great to see it at version 1. This I thought was pretty interesting as well. So OpenStreet is kind of the big competitor to Google Maps, and they do everything through user-generated content. So users are out there making the maps and roads and things like that. They're adding OpenStreetView now, which pretty interesting idea. So basically, you drive down and it takes pictures as you're driving to add to the street view. Basically, what's cool about that fact versus Street View, where you can go in and see stuff, is A, you're not relying on Google having to travel throughout the world to update its Street View maps with their little streetcar, but you're relying on user-generated content, and it's also cool because it's going to show you several pictures of different users in different times, so you'll be able to see a picture at different points in time, which I thought that was really cool. So it'll be nice to see once users start generating some info there and getting that up and running.
What do I need to do with that file, Nick?
Just put it in your config directory. You may have to switch tabs back and forth after that.
Glenn, why have you avoided Unchecky?
Okay, Proctor, you may have to reload your profile, auto mode profile or something. Refresh it. Or just restart D7.2. That'll do it too. I'm sorry. You know, there's a restart option in the run menu. It does it really quick.
Oh, really?
To restart D7.2, yeah. You can do it in system mode or just regular.
Yeah, well, Glenn, I definitely recommend it. It's a great program. I use it on mine, so that should say something, because I don't like having a bunch of stuff in my system tray if I'm not using it. It is a pretty good program overall. That's just going to pull that probably just overwrote the list that you had in there. Yep.
There you go.
So that's the list that you would have populated, and you would want to go through and check the ones that you want to have installed or updated. Usually I would do both the same on install and updates when I do it. And then obviously servers, you would have a little bit different settings for those. So, but you would want to save your auto mode profile so that those check marks get saved. And then next time you were under maintenance and ran the 991 function, it would go through and do all those. All right, and you're probably not going to be able to run those since your account is not set, Proctor.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome, Glenn. Congratulations. I expect that your initial comment is going to be something out there. Because you're good at the abuse you provide, Glenn. Still, that's good free advertising at the least. So.
Yeah, it's
And good
generally a good recommendation to get involved with your local chamber of commerce if that's available in your area for any of our business viewers out there. It's a great way to
You can stop sharing your screen, Proctor.
it's a great way to network and it's largely requires very little investment on your end. So.
Well, I thought this is interesting, not specifically because of this router set exactly, but it seems that a lot of the wireless routers, I've seen one other one, I forget which one it was, but it seems a lot of the wireless routers are now going towards mesh router setups. So when you purchase a router, you're going to be able to just purchase additional little ones to put around your house, and they just automatically integrate into the mesh and provide additional Wi-Fi range and distance. I'm actually really excited that they're moving towards that style of setup instead of trying to rely on one access point to try to supply power to the entire house, because I mean you have so many variables.
Well, isn't that what range extenders were for? And they typically also came in at a lower price compared to a router.
Yeah,
I imagine setting up
setup on those
identical devices.
Working on them has never been.
No, it hasn't, admittedly. But at least there was a way for them to reduce the cost. It seems like they're not going to be able to reduce the cost like this. So it seems like it would actually increase the cost for consumers to blanket their home with Wi-Fi.
I think this would reduce the cost.
I'm also not sure so sure that that mesh networks are really a home requirement, as the Wi-Fi standards, AC, and then followed by the future replacements. Those hopefully will take care of the bandwidth and distance concerns, I hope. Although we'll have to wait and see, of course, for that. But
I never seen that in practice. So. I feel like it is going to be a better option. I mean, if you purchase,
consumers have always had these options, though. I mean, this is what conference centers and things like that do. So, these have always been available. I just hope that it comes
but you're going to be
at
paying
a lower price.
Yeah, business level prices on those kind of setups.
Do you know what the price of these things are?
That one specifically said it was running 400 or 250 for a single one. So
400 for what?
For the two.
For the two. It's not horrible, and it is closer to traditional consumer pricing, but
And I mean, this is brand new,
yeah, that's true. It's new. We'll see where it
right off
goes.
the line side, so it's going to get cheaper as it becomes more of a standard. And I like I said, I'm hoping that it does become more of a standard, because even right now I have a network wire running from here to my access point.
It's what Ubiquity.
in the middle of the house.
It's what Ubiquity has been doing, and
Yeah, maybe that was the one.
we saw some of Cisco's, not Cisco's. Was it Cisco? Somebody else was doing. I remember when we went to Spice World in 2015. I recall them.
That's last year,
Yeah, that's right. It's 2016 now.
like the year before we're going this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they were talking about the mesh networking there. So, this has been coming for a while.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying, Glenn, is that and even myself setting those extenders up, and like the ASUS stuff has it built in for my access point to be turned into a extender, but the Wi-Fi signaling ranging of it just doesn't work as well as it should, and these devices are built from the ground up for that, so I feel like they would work a lot better. And the other options, like going through your power lines and trying to do range extenders that way, it's always a headache, and restarting one thing, you have to remember to go back and restart the other things, and it's a pain. So I hope the mesh stuff takes care of that and alleviates a lot of those issues. And I mean, honestly, since I've run the wire, I haven't had any issues working with this with my access points being extenders. So yeah,
I've had all kinds of issues over the years getting extenders to work.
Yeah, and the power line ones are just crazy. Nick, did you said you had a power line extender set up, didn't you?
I do. I run it in the house right now.
Yeah. Is it getting better?
It's definitely better than it was.
That's good.
Definitely a lot better than it was. Right now, just about everything in the house is wired through them. I have an access point up here and one down there. The one down there is connected to it as well through a power line adapter. And then there's all the game consoles and the computer downstairs and all that stuff.
Well, and the other side of it too is that having a house that was built in the last 10, 20 years is probably better than, say, our house.
Probably so. Mine's 20 years old, but it works fine. So.
Yeah. But like this house I'm in right now is probably built in the 60s, I think it was. So the power line stuff, I would have more issues than I would imagine.
Yeah.
In a newer home. So.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised everything's either on the same circuit or it's
My home would just melt down.
whatever, working despite that or whatever.
It's over
because
110 years old. Yeah, that ain't gonna do it.
Wires have been upgraded since then.
I think literally Edison
welder.
I think Thomas Edison literally ran the wires to my house.
It's possible.
Still have that ground.
It is possible. And that's crap because then we know you got DC or something in there, right?
Yeah, and are you?
I would have preferred Tesla laying the wires. Frankly, I would have preferred Tesla doing it. So.
Did you ever get your house grounded?
I'm still not clear on that, to tell you the truth. No, I don't think that ever really happened.
Did they just install the 3-prong outlets and then hook them up to nothing, or?
Strangely enough, or I did go back and double check, and it looks like some of them seemingly are grounded and some of them aren't. So, but I did get a cable. I'm actually more concerned about my internet coaxial line. And that having some issues. So I'd rather have some grounding on that. And strangely enough, my Lucy, the dog you've seen on the show probably a couple of times, she's comes up running up to me with something in her mouth, and it's literally because I researched what it takes to ground those lines, and so I know what these things look like. And she comes up to me running with one in her mouth. Not really clear where she got it from. Hopefully it wasn't from my house, but it's possible.
Yeah, Jay Chamberlain, we've described to Michael how to ground in a previous episode, and it just went over his head. Even that, what you mentioned, is over his head. So, yeah, but yeah, that was funny. Glenn blew up several of his power line extenders before realizing he was on the same circuit as the welder he was running. Definitely things to think about on those. I want to post the. I had 2 links for this solar eclipse thing. This first link had a really good map to show you where it is, and this one just goes into some other details of it. So, I thought it's going to be awesome. It's actually going right over our house here, so we aren't going to have to travel anywhere. All of you guys would have to travel to the Appalachians if you wanted to see it, or come visit here if you wanted to do that. Yeah, I
So
thought
it said, "Screw you guys! I'm only coming here to see Brantley." The Eclipse did, basically. It said, "What's your address, Brantley, in advance?" Gotcha. Eclipse@sun.com.
Yeah, since 1979, haven't had one come here, and I was really disappointed in the last one not being able to see it, which wasn't that long ago. So it was cool to watch it online, and Michael had mentioned that he feels it may be safer for people to watch it online because of the
There's a lot of hype, and I just worry about
eye
the kids.
blindness and stuff, and I think that's one of those things that if you have a chance to see it in person, you should see it in person, because it's amazing. Like,
With
the
proper
entire sun
protection.
gets blocked out. This is things that caused previous
civilizations to be
civilizations to
destroyed.
freak out about, and
Yeah.
sacrifice wealths of people. And
It wasn't
I think the best example you can see that in, although
I guess.
obviously it's not the greatest historical reference, but it is a good movie in a movie itself, Apocalypto.
Oh god.
They had a solar eclipse there that changed the whole story.
I don't trust Mel Gibson completely with all of that.
You shouldn't. And any of his documentaries are not documentaries. They're
Excuse me.
good movies at times, but I would not base a history report on them. Yeah, and that's what I'm excited about, is to see it. And Chamberlain's up in Wyoming, or was in Wyoming.
Oh.
That's awesome. Yeah, the last one was 1979, so if you saw it there, you saw it then. I did say it was really cool that it's going to go over the Yellowstone National Park, and I think that would be an awesome place to watch it from. The darkness you have out there would be far better. It'd probably be very interesting to see it there. But here's not going to be so bad. I mean, we do have Atlanta pretty close, but won't be that bad. And also, if you missed the Perseid's Meteor Shower, you can look at how it looked around several places in the world from that link there. And that's one that has the largest meteor showers and stuff striking down, so cool stuff. I thought this is pretty cool. I'm kind of excited to see it redone. And here's the new Pennywise, if you haven't seen it yet. Looks pretty creepy.
What? Dang.
Huh? You broke up there, Nick. What'd you say?
The movie, Stephen King.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I thought my first thought was the punk band.
Oh. No, it's they're remaking it. So it's gonna have a new updated flavor, which I think should be good.
That's pretty cool.
scare a whole new generation of kids of clowns.
Awesome.
I thought this was pretty funny. Everyone that has a Roomba or Roomba-like device, be wary because it's actually probably just smearing crap around your house. Literally.
It's a little bit of I can easily see some anti-Roomba person, you know, setting this up and causing this, you know, I mean, is this? It sounds like it's contrived. Is it? Or I mean, was it comical? Was it intent to be comical, or was it intent to be
No, this is serious. And seriously, if you have a Roomba and you have a dog pooping in your house, the Roomba is going to go over it. And a Roomba is not designed to wipe up and clean up poop. So
maybe
if it
train
runs,
your dog to not
it will end up running
do that
all
in
around
the
your house doing
Okay,
that.
listen, I have dogs. Okay, they're trained to do it outside, and I can leave them in the house for a while, you know, and they won't cause any problems. Um,
The Roomba pretty much keeps a very clean house clean.
Yeah.
It doesn't have a lot of storage for
don't
dirt.
use it for that
Not
purpose.
super powerful.
And yeah, I've never seen a person actually fully, completely replace their traditional vacuum with something like that. So, but again, I wouldn't throw the entire company
Yeah.
under the bus just because of this poop issue.
Well, no, same thing from the chat is Glenn says they suck because they don't suck. It's a floor sweeper, not a vacuum. And Jay Chamberlain says it's good at picking up hair, but not actually cleaning. So,
Well, you know, I'd criticize them on
I
those
think-
points. I just don't
I
like
think
criticizing on the
Proctor's
poop
point
issue.
is probably the best, that it keeps your really clean house clean.
Yeah. Yeah, don't.
But if you're not a really clean house, then you're going to end up going through a couple Roombas.
Yeah.
And still have a dirty house at the end of it. So, I thought this was interesting news that LinkedIn is going out and suing 100 individuals for scraping user data from their site. First kind of thing I've really heard, at least on this massive scale, that they're going out and attacking people, suing people for
Excuse me.
scraping data.
What on what basis? I mean, if it's a public LinkedIn profiles. I mean, isn't that the point of a public profile?
Michael, if you've never read terms of services for websites, almost all of them say you're not allowed to scrape data from us. Doesn't matter if it's public or not at that point. It's the terms of
Michael
service.
doesn't read any of that stuff.
No, but you don't have to apply to their service for just by browsing the web.
If you go to their site, you are under their terms of service.
Yep. Yeah, anytime. Yeah. If I go to your house, Michael, I'm under your terms of whatever the heck you want me to be on there.
Yeah, but that's so wrong. That's even
Oh.
allowed.
It's wrong. It's wrong for you to control your own domain.
Yeah. And thanks
No. I mean, you either make something private or you don't make something private. That shouldn't be a law. I mean,
But it is. You don't have to have a fence around your house with a sign saying, with the sign and your rules and stuff for me to just walk up.
Because there's no real life analogies.
I'm still, you know,
you can't.
your property.
The problem with every law that's been written about technology is we try to relate it to something. Oh, it's just like this. It's just like that. But it's not just like anything.
Well, it's very much like it in this case. So deal with it.
yeah, so thank you, 1980s law that is making that possible, by the way.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm not
and,
saying that that's
very
great.
well researched law.
I think the problem is people like Michael who don't read anything about terms and laws and things like that, which are just really exacerbating the issue with the people who don't know anything about technology to begin with, making the laws. And you get the two of them together.
Yeah, and you get laws like we have now. Well, moving on from that point, I just thought it was interesting that that's the first company I've heard going on a massive scale against scrapers. Scrapers usually have their accounts banned or something to that effect, but in this case, they're actually going after the people. So I thought that was
That's
pretty.
good.
I thought this was interesting.
How does Google get around that? Don't they scrape data? Doesn't their indexing of
What do you mean
websites
by?
theoretically
Yeah, and they
scraping?
offer you to go and take it off of there.
Mhm.
And they're not scraping pages like LinkedIn stuff, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think they're taking people's user data and all that, and you can't.
And
Make the
take
web
that.
searchable, but they're not
and
scraping data. I
they
mean,
have
it's
no, you have it so you can set up if you want Google's web crawlers to search your pages or not from your pages. So
yeah.
you
So
can
again,
tell
you
them
have to do
not
something to
to
protect
scrape
your
it.
privacy, not somebody walking, down the streets. It's so full of holes. This crap, these laws.
Anyway, well that's not the point. So, moving on, I thought this was looks like it's going to be an interesting, awesome movie called Arrival, and here's the actual trailer for it. Um, it looks intense, definitely. But what's cool about it is like it's the first alien movie where you're going through and trying to translate and work with the aliens. So like the aliens don't have this psychic ability or anything like that that we're used to. This movie is actually about the person that's hired by the government to try to translate and interpret what's going on and what they're doing and things like that. So I thought it looked really interesting. Be excited to see where it goes and turns out from there. So, um, oh, this is cool. If you hate synchronized swimming, you may enjoy this. I think it actually would be pretty fun to watch. Even is synchronized wind tunnel dancing. So, complete opposite of synchronized swimming, but yet the same kind of. Either way, it looks like fun. I would love to have a wind tunnel. That stuff would be awesome to hang out in all day. Albeit probably loud.
Oh, sorry.
Exciting news for fans of Mr. Robot. They have been renewed for a third season, and I just caught up on last week's episode, and they are back into it, man. They've gotten past the whole schizo crazy stuff that's was not really what I felt like was good television, but I guess it was there for points, but now it's really moved on, and man, I can't wait for tomorrow. It's going to be awesome. But they're going to have another season even still, so that'll be even cooler. Have y'all heard about the fabled Nazi gold train? So they believe in the Netherlands somewhere that, or Poland, that there was a train of packed with like 300 tons of gold and weapons and things being run by the Nazis that kind of just disappeared and got lost, possibly during a bomb or something to that effect. But it's kind of like that real life Indiana Jones stuff. Like these are hints and fables and stories that may or may not be true, but there's people out there looking for it, and if they do ever come across it, it'll be just like a real life Indiana Jones movie, I feel like, because if you do find it, being able to announce that publicly without being accosted, it's going to be difficult to say the least, but I thought it was interesting in that there's still people trying to find it and go after it, and it just feels like a real life Indiana Jones, because like Indiana Jones went after stuff that people didn't believe was existed and found it, so I thought that was cool. I don't know if I talked about this previously or not, but If you have a library card for Los Angeles, you can access the New York Times from anywhere. So good reason to have a public library card, which was going on the out. But if the libraries start getting deals with magazines and things like that that have paywalls, they could see a significant increase in their membership, which would allow them to have more budget, which would allow them to keep books and things around. So I thought that was pretty interesting. So what else we got? Any other good news or stories? We're about at our hour, so. No?
Remember
No?
from 1996, I believe there was a movie with Charlie Sheen. I thought it was that called something like the movie you're talking about, Arrival?
The Signal, maybe? That's the closest thing that I can think of related.
Let me IMDb it. Hold on a second. Yeah. What about this guy? Movies aren't related, probably. I don't think this is. I mean, just a coincidental naming type situation. The Signal. Signal. I know another movie called The Signal, but it's not anything to do with extraterrestrials. Anyway, I was just curious if there was any relationship.
We're glad for that.
I don't know if it's the same as that Charlie Sheen movie or not. It does have the same name, you're right.
The Charlie Sheen movie, I don't think really was about so much focus on the communication stuff, at all, because the aliens were largely staying hidden, as I remember from that movie. So I can't imagine that. The plot's certainly different.
The Signal did have relationship to aliens. That's the 2014 one. My favorite one does not have any relation to aliens, but that's
Oh, I don't know if I saw the. Yeah,
I told you to watch that one because it's really good.
I can't remember, did I? I might have.
The 2007 Signal is a super good one. Glenn, we don't need more people with issues. We want more people with help. But yes, thank you for bringing up the any issues. That's what we like to deal with here primarily. But
Oh, the Signal. Yeah. I did see that, and you're right. That did have something to do with aliens. I was thinking of the 2007 one though.
Contact is what I was actually thinking of. That's the movie that I was.
Oh, yeah. It's similar plots. I would possibly.
The Jodie Foster movie in '97.
There was an alien communication in that to some extent,
Yes.
although it was weak. I thought the ending of that movie
That
was just totally weak.
I say both of the Signals are far better than that Contact movie, though, and I hope that the Arrival movie is going to be far better.
Well, I mean, Contact may have been a good book, better book than it was a movie. They should, when you take from a story, sometimes it's good to take it another direction. They could have gone so many other things with it instead of her on that beach with her her dead father. I just thought that was a little weak. That's been, aliens taking on forms of people in your past to come across as being comfortable with you. I mean, that's been done in Star Trek. That's been done in all sorts of. That's been done in Native American culture. It's been done everywhere.
All right. Well, we have reached our hour limit for the day, and like Glenn, thank you, Jay Chamberlain, for getting us to talk about D7 and any of the issues. If you do have any more of those problems, feel free to bring them up to us, and we'll be more than happy to talk about them. Otherwise, I hope everything else goes well for everyone today, and we will be back tomorrow at 2 p.m. So if you have any questions about our products or services, that's what we're here for mainly, but otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, man.
Oh,
Michael?
I forgot I was doing it.
You big dummy.
I've heard that voice in a while.